Greetings, this is Dr. Caroline Kauke. In this video, I'm going to explain to you what happens during the fellowship exam and give you some tips on how to pass this with flying colors. Your fellowship exam will involve two parts, the written exam and the oral panel exam. Now, some people prefer to do the written exam one year and the oral panel exam the following year, which involves quite a bit of case preparation. Now, that's perfectly fine, but you do have to complete everything within 2 years of when you take the written exam. The written exam, this is a multiple choice exam. There are 50 or 60 questions depending on whatever iteration we have, because we redo this test every single year, throw out some test questions that we think are not appropriate or are missed often by a lot of different test takers, and replace them with new ones. So it's a floating number, could be anywhere between 50 and 60. Takes about an hour, hour and a half to complete, although we'll give you as much time as you want within reason. After about 3 hours, it's getting a little much. Anyway, if you come upon a question that you feel is tricky or it just doesn't seem to have any right answer, turn the page over and just write as much as you want. That's a rebuttal. It's a rebuttal and just saying, I don't think there's a proper answer to this. Explain why. Because oftentimes, if we can see what you're saying and it makes sense to us and it's accurate, you'll get credit for it, even though you didn't choose the answer that we thought was most appropriate. Also, you have to pass with 85%, but we will curve this, and so it might be less than 85% if nobody gets a very high score. During the oral panel exam, you'll be asked questions about cases 2 and 3 from the panel of 3 fellows who are examining you. Also, we'll be showing you a PowerPoint that will have slides of sodium fluorescein patterns, of topographic maps, and you'll be asked questions about the fit of that particular mold, as well as how to troubleshoot and to get a better outcome. You'll also be given a particular design and asked to modify that to better control myopia, and then of course just some general knowledge questions. What sort of questions will they ask you about cases 2 and 3? Well, your examiners will have read both of the cases thoroughly and taken notes, and so they're going to ask you, why did you pick these particular parameters to start off with, and when you make changes, why did you do it, if you haven't explained that in the body of the text? And did things turn out the way you thought they were? And if not, tell them why. If there's data missing, you better be ready to tell them why the data is missing, and also explain why that happened and what you would do about it, in retrospect, of course. And then, of course, if the data don't make sense, they're going to call you on that, and you need to be prepared to answer those sorts of questions. Next comes a sort of fun part of the exam. What we will be doing is giving you a memory stick that you can plug into your laptop and look at the screen, and we'll say, look at slide number 1, and it will be a JPEG or a video of a sodium fluorescein pattern under a lens, and then we'll say, well, what do you see here? Do you see a problem? How would you fix it? And there'll be several of those. And then also we'll be giving you several maps and asking you to tell us what you see on the map, what does it tell you in terms of the fit, and what you would do about it. And so this is another way to demonstrate your command of the knowledge, and just feel free to say as much as you want about each of those. Finally, we're going to put up a design, as you can see here on the slide, of a standard orthokeratology lens. And it won't be this exact one, but something like that. And it'll be an Ortho-K fit. And what we want to do is have you look at that and tell us how you would change that particular design, very specifically what you would do to each of the curves to make this control myopia, as opposed to just a standard Ortho-K design. And of course, the panel will be asking you general questions along the way regarding ortho-K in general, myopia control in general. And this all stems from your earlier preparation for the multiple choice test. So you don't have to prepare extra for this because this is your knowledge and you'll just be able to impart it as soon as they ask you a question. So how do they judge if you have passed or failed? Well, they're going to be basically valuing your answers to the questions about your cases, the answers about the slides that you've seen. Do you understand how to design a myopia control lens? Do you have a good grasp of myopia control? And your general responses to questions. Are you fellowship quality? And what they will do is meet and decide that, and you'll be asked to leave the room, and usually you'll have your answer in about 5 or 10 minutes. And so again, we have two outcomes. You've passed. Fantastic. Now you're a fellow. And so we will update the website so that we put the little red fellow by your name. You'll be provided with a certificate that you can put in your office stating that you are a fellow of the Academy. And then you have a duty to represent your section and the Academy to other members of the Academy, to other eye care professionals, as well as the public. Now, what if you don't pass? Well, that happens again, and so what you're going to do is submit 1 to 2 new cases at the next testing opportunity. Your panel may also allow you to do this by Skype. It just really depends on the situation. But again, you can only take it once, and then if you don't make it the second time, you do have to reapply.